to. And then in 2015, that is where Akpo was introduced. So I'll leave that as checked and then let's hit OK. And then let's this was a layout I was creating in ArcMap. So for you, or specific to whatever workflow you are looking for, right? So another thing too is
to ask but you don't want to make it public, you can also reach out to me directly and I'll be happy